Now let Captain Sutter tell you more of his story.
Come and join me around the campfire as I tell you the story of how gold was discovered in California at my sawmill. I needed lumber for my agricultural domain in the Sacramento Valley, so in 1847 I entered into a partnership with James W. Marshall, one of my employees, who agreed to build a sawmill on the South Fork of the American River. By early 1848, the mill was completed. On January 24, Marshall was inspecting a tail race when he spotted some yellow flecks glistening in the water. After both Marshall and I had made exhaustive tests, we determined that the shiny metal was indeed gold. Although we agreed to keep the discovery a secret, the news soon leaked out, and the great California gold rush was on. By the summer of 1848, some 2,000 miners were feverishly working with shovels.
Marshall's cabin.
Welcome to the town of Placerville, once the site of Hangman's Tree, now only a faded memory. Lucius Mellon, an early miner, will now tell you a little more of the history of Placerville. I was an early miner who was witness to many a hanging in Placerville. Placerville got an early start thanks to its proximity to the site of the original gold discovery. In midsummer of 1848, 3 prospectors took out $17,000 in gold in less than a week. Armour, who later made famous the Armour hot dog, had a butcher shop here. John Studebaker, who created the Studebaker style of car, worked in a wheelbarrow shop here. Snowshoe Thompson, who invented the cross-country skis, ran his famous Sierra Nevada mail route through Placerville. Like the county in which it is located, Amador City takes its name from Jose Maria Amador, a rancher and Indian fighter who mined for gold here in 1848. Placer gold was found that year, but it soon gave out. In 1851, however, 4 ministers turned miners discovered rich gold deposits, and the boom was on. The Keystone Mine, which operated from 1853 until 1942, was one of the greatest producers in the Mother Lode, accounting for some $24 million in gold. Its rusty head frame sits on a hill on your way out of town. Today, without the tourists, Amador City would be little more than a name in the history books. Amador City's single-block business district makes this town California's smallest incorporated city. Captain John Sutter established a lumber camp here in 1844, and later mined for gold using Indian laborers. Placer gold lasted only a short time around the Sutter Creek, but in 1851, rich Hardwater Creek not only had rich mines of its own, including the Eureka and the Union, where Leland Stanford made his fortune, it also served as a supply depot for the entire county. Through the years, some $36 million in gold was extracted here from the Eureka mine alone, and many tons of gold-bearing ore were crushed in the mills of Sutter Creek. As gold production dropped, lumbering again came into prominence, and today lumbering and tourism are the basis of the town's economy. During this drive, you will pass through the little gold towns of Jackson and Mokelumne Hill. Now, Jose Hernandez, a Spanish prospector, will tell you more of the history of Jackson. As you know, my name is Jose Hernandez. I was a Spanish prospector here in the area of Jackson many, many years ago. Jackson never had rich placer gold deposits, so its abundance of water was the real reason for its existence. Topography provided a natural ford where the folks of a small creek came together. A dependable spring made this a natural way station for thirsty travelers. A sizable accumulation of used bottles resulted, causing us miners to name the place Botellas. The camp soon became a trading center and transportation depot. By late 1849, its name had been changed to Jackson, after Colonel Andrew Jackson. After a group of miners found gold along the banks of Mokelumne River in 1848, one of them opened a trading post on a hill above the river. Within 4 years, Mokelumne Hill had become a busy, booming camp. Gold proved to be so abundant here that claims were restricted to plots 16 feet square. Diverse ethnic groups made up the population of the camp, and racial abuse was common. So was violence. After the Chilean War of 1849 was settled, the French War took place. On a nearby French hill, where us miners from France made a rich strike. In our excitement, we raised up our French flag on the hill. This gave the jealous American miners the excuse they needed to drive us Frenchmen from the hill and take our claims. Robberies and killings were rampant. During one 17-week period, at least one murder per week was recorded. Joaquin Murrieta. Some of the sights you will now see are the old courthouse where Black Bart was tried and the jail he stayed in. Now some of the history from Black Bart himself. San Andreas began in 1848 as a Mexican mining camp. When American miners learned of the rich gold deposits, they swarmed into the camp and drove away the foreigners. One of the Mexicans ejected from San Andreas, according to many accounts, was Joaquin Murrieta, who retaliated against racial abuse by turning to a career as a terrorist outlaw. San Andreas also saw strife between American and French miners, resulting in the departure of the Frenchmen. My days as a robber came to an end here. I was caught in 1883 after 28 bloodless stagecoach robberies over a period of 8 years. After pleading guilty, I was sent to San Quentin Jail, where I served a long sentence. And to this date, no one ever knew about my real whereabouts.
Sent out 250 invitations to witness the hanging of George Carpenter's jail.
A little more of the history of Angel's Camp is George Angel himself.
I, George Angel, was a member of the party that discovered gold here in 1848. But I was a merchant, not a miner. I founded a trading post and gave the camp its name. Gold was plentiful around Angel's Camp. By 1849, 500 miners were prospecting the area, and many rich strikes were reported. I prospered too, since a shirt sold for $50 and tools for up to $200 each. When the placer gold eventually gave out, a man by the unlikely name of Benninger Raspberry saved the day. While out hunting one day, his ramrod stuck in his gun, so he shot it into the ground, revealing a large piece of gold-bearing quartz in the process. In 3 days, Raspberry mined 10,000.
Grinding Rock is California's only state park devoted primarily to Indian culture. Before the gold rush, this was a seasonal meeting place of the Miwok Indians, hunters and gatherers who lived along the western slope of the Sierra Nevada. A limestone outcropping set in a grassy meadow, dotted with huge spreading oaks, was used by the Miwoks as a mortar for grinding acorn meal. Nearly 1,200 mortar holes have been ground into the 7,700 square foot rock, and petrography have been etched onto its surface. Nearby are replicas of Indian dwellings and Indian Cultural Center. Take a side trip to Volcano. You will see now the sights of Old Abe's Cannon and take a walking tour of the town. If you're lucky, you will see the daffodils, too. Now, you will talk to Sly Johnson, one of the first prospectors to this area.
Hi, kids. This is Sly Johnson, one of the very first prospectors to this area. As you know, the first prospectors to find gold here were veterans of the Mexican War, and the camp's original name was Soldier's Gulch. Placer gold deposits were exceedingly rich, and during 1848, miners averaged over $100 per day per man. Volcano erupted into a boom town by 1851 and boasted California's first public library, first literary and debating society, its first private law school, and first little theater group. When placer gold mining declined in the mid-1850s, and Volcano proved to be
Press the red button.
Lady's gone.
It's already on.
Okay.
Wait a minute.
It's on record.
Oh no, she's getting full.
Oh, Donnie, get it off. Press the red button. Not ready.
Do it over there by the. Do it over by the thing. Okay, that's enough for me. What? Hold on.
This is Forest City.
Forest City was a private one held in a room under the Old Fellows Hall. In 1860, the first public school building was built. In 1874, this building was built and served two multi-graded classes of up to 50 children through the mid-1930s. The bell was purchased in the late 1870s with funds raised at a theater company benefit and is on permanent loan from the Sierra Plumas Joint Unified School District. A small wing adjoined the eastern side and a covered porch graced the front. Owned by the Forest City Historical Association, this building awaits future restoration when funds become available.
It's Halloween.
Welcome to the town of Columbia, one of California's best preserved gold mining towns. And now to tell you a little more of the history of this town is Dr. Thaddeus Hildreth.
window of our room. Where we ate dinner.